My little pony, my little pony. Isn't the world a lovely place?
Welcome to Werezilla's Retrospective. I'm your host, Werezilla, and welcome back to Displaced Demographic Month.
You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old past said. Boy, you got a friend in me.
And I think it's safe to say that if Barney is the king of kids shows, then My Little Pony is the queen. Now, admittedly, the current series, Friendship is Magic, has led to a much larger fan base than any of the creators could possibly imagine, with the ability to appeal to everyone. Though prior to its rise in popularity, the series had a reputation for being overly girly, though really it's straight up fantasy. At least the first show was. The second was more about the ponies living everyday lives, the kind of antics teenage girls find themselves in. And as for the third incarnation, well, that's where the reputation originates from what I understand. Rather than be a show on its own, MLP G3 was a series of direct-to-DVD specials, including today's topic, the Runaway Rainbow. It has the fantasy and living their own lives thing, something the current show also does. But for this one, they decided to oversimplify things. We open in Ponyville, where the ponies are preparing for the annual Rainbow Celebration, all of which is being orchestrated by Rainbow Dash?
Thank you, Minty and Pinkie Pie, darlings. I just love this time of year when it's all about celebrating rainbows. Rainbows, darlings, rainbows.
You were expecting the tomboy from the current series, weren't you? Yeah, let's just say characters weren't always consistent from incarnation to incarnation. Nor were they very good. Oh, and the bland pink one here is supposed to be the eccentric Pinkie Pie? Yeah. Anyway, the ponies start singing about the inevitable arrival of the rainbow in Ponyville, though no one actually knows where it comes from. Not even Rainbow Dash. But we do, for the next thing we see is the land of Unicornia, which coincidentally is also the name of the setting of the MLP hate fic My Brave Unicorn takes place in. How ironic. Here we meet three unicorns responsible for the rainbow, and their newest member, Rarity.
Rarity. There is much to learn. You need to watch and listen. As a new princess, you have a lot of responsibilities. Rarity, are you listening?
I'm listening.
Actually, looking back at that earlier scene, Rainbow Dash is acting more like Rarity in this special than Rarity herself. Anyway, the de facto leader of the unicorns, Cheerly, takes it upon herself to teach Rarity how to use the magic wand that will summon the crystal chariot, which she and the other unicorns will use to create the first rainbow of the season. Which I may add is an impressive feat for a species that has no fingers to hold it.
Come on. He's not kidding.
Also, the rainbow has 8 colors, so shouldn't there be a unicorn for each one? Moving on, Rarity, being a playful little thing, starts playing with the wands, which teleports her away from Unicornia, and ends up in...
Hi, who are you? What are you? Where'd you come from? Where are you going? How'd you get here?
the Uncanny Valley. Actually, this is Breezy Blossom, home of little flying ponies called Breezies, who somehow managed to have even less characterization than the rest of the cast. They take her to Ponyville, where she explains to Rainbow Dash and the others who she is and where she comes from. And not a single pony questions her. They kind of just accept a random unicorn kid is part of a society that creates the seasonal rainbow. They didn't know this before this scene, so no doubts, no questioning, not even the slightest hint of a dilemma. Well, there is one, getting Rarity back home before it was too late. They bring her to Spike, the 1,000-year-old dragon, in hopes of her getting her back to Unicornia.
Twirl the wand like this.
Darlings, she's gone.
Where did she go?
Huh?
That was fun. Let's do it again.
I think not.
Definitely not something the current Spike would say to the current Rarity, that's for sure. No, bad thoughts! Bad thoughts! Anyway, the main 6, no, that doesn't work here. There's only 4 of them plus Spike, so, our heroes, I guess, make their way back to Unicornia, getting caught in a raging river along the way. And that's it. No monsters, no threats, nothing. Yes, I know this is a special, but this is supposed to be a fantasy setting. Take advantage of that fact. That is until later that night when Rainbow Dash discovers most of the color in her mane is gone. Wait, I thought it was just the rainbow the unicorns brought up. Now it's all colors? Would have been nice to have established that before now. The ponies run into Cheerily and the other unicorns, who had gone looking for Rarity earlier. Say, shouldn't we be considering the repercussions of meeting a new race, and that everything we thought we knew about rainbows is a lie, and... Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. The ponies make it back to Unicornia, only to find the rainbow colors have already started to vanish. The ponies lose hope, but Rarity decides to give it one last try, and with the power of the elements of harmony... magic unicorn power, they restore all the colors. And so the rainbow is back and life resumes for the ponies. You know what? I take back what I said last time. This is the shortest thing I've ever reviewed. I think I can see why G1, G2, and G4 are the preferred entries in the franchise. No, not that G1 and G2, this G1 and G2. The animation was okay, but I think the animators gave up halfway through since some characters would just have their mouths hanging open when a character spoke. Maybe it was unfair for me to pick the series where nothing happens, but why should there be any work of fiction where nothing happens in the first place? The ponies don't really have much to them, and considering this is meant to sell a Hasbro toy line, having characters be as interchangeable as possible kinda makes it hard to sell toys. And while we're on the subject of Hasbro toy lines, I think it's time I apologize for something I said. Remember back in my first review when I said this? Not to mention, the idea of holding hands in the air to receive any form of power boost has gay overtones written all over it. Well, that was fairly offensive, especially considering how the elements of harmony from the current show works using the power of friendship and much like this. Mind you, that was firmly established in MLP, and the headmasters pulled the head formation right out of their asses. Basically, while it was a horrible idea to use in Transformers, there are series where it does work. So while the actual criticism remains, the words I used definitely could have been more tasteful. And for that, I apologize. I do have to say, though, this theme has not gone well. Barney's Great Adventure and My Little Pony, The Runaway Rainbow, has left me both underwhelmed and overwhelmed at the same time. But don't worry. Next time, things will be much better. Next time, the day will be saved, thanks to the Power...